Creating the perfect family vacation is a step-by-step process. And if you're a lover of history and architecture, these steps you take can be your ultimate destination. The famous stairways of Dubuque, Iowa are a can't-miss attraction that can take your family vacation to a whole new level. So step right up and let's jump in. Dubuque is known for its historic bluffs, but until the inventions of the elevator, automobile, and more recently the electric bicycle, these hills were significant barriers that prevented people from going further west.
In the early 1900s, most of Dubuque's population resided between the Mississippi River and the breathtaking bluffs. Visually, the bluffs were breathtaking, but when you tried to climb them, they took your breath away. So to pave the way for westward expansion, the city council hired local craftsman Henry Stiermacher to build the first set of public stairs that would connect the river basin with the top of the once insurmountable bluffs.
Over the next 16 years, Stiermacher would go on to build an additional 25 stairways across the entire city. Wherever there was a hill, you could count on a stairway.
The stairs connecting Madison Street and Seminary Hill were perhaps the most famous. But every stairway was important. It was a tributary from their home into the city.
And while the citizens took pleasure in the newfound freedom provided by these stairways, they were not built without controversy.
One of the biggest proponents of these new stairways was J.B. Callahan, a city council member who coincidentally happened to be the owner of the Callahan Handrail Company, the only handrail factory in Dubuque.
While the city council was aware of this blatant conflict of interest, they had no idea how wealthy Callahan would become, being the sole provider of the handrails for the Stiermacher stairways.
Callahan knew the real money was in the handrails. Steps themselves are pretty basic, but handrails can be as elaborate and majestic and expensive as the imagination of a visionary handrail tycoon.
Unfortunately, the Dubuque stairways began to get a bad reputation. There was a saying in Dubuque: the stairways always went over two things. They went over hills and over budget.
Feeling hoodwinked by Callahan, the city council retaliated by drastically slashing the budget, which prevented the appropriate upkeep and maintenance of the existing stairs.
When the funding dried up, Callahan went off the rails. He threatened the city council and vowed to never do another handrail in Dubuque. In the middle of the night, he packed up everything, moved out west of the Rockies during the handrail rush of 1919.
It was also around this very same time when the majority of citizens started to realize how much they truly dislike using stairs.
The soldiers returning home from World War I were like, "What? We just won the war, and you expect us to climb a bunch of stairs when we could be driving these things called automobiles? No."
Culturally, the stairs quickly went out of vogue. Local newspapers read op-eds that the stairs were sore on people's feet as well as on their eyes.
Anti-stairway propaganda was at its peak in the 1920s. The term stair pollution was used to describe how these stairways were destroying the natural beauty of the bluffs.
What once was an uphill solution suddenly faced an uphill battle.
Automobiles, electric trolleys, the 4th Street elevator, all of these technologies were preferred over the stairways, which very quickly had gone from essential to ignored.
At this point, taking the stairs wasn't even a novelty. It was completely avoided. And sadly, many of the neglected stairways began to crumble and fade back into the bluffs. Dubuque wasn't just losing a bunch of steps. It was beginning to lose a part of its history.
In 1942, Henry Stiermacher passed away. Supposedly he died of a broken heart because of his broken stairs. I guess officially he died of a heart attack. He did drink and smoke a lot, but what happened to his stairways couldn't have helped.
For several decades, the Dubuque stairways received little attention and even less maintenance and upkeep. But that all changed in 1972 when Henry Stiermacher's grandson founded the Dubuque Hysterical Society.
My father's original intent when he formed the Dubuque Hysterical Society was to simply preserve the remaining stairways from further deterioration and closing. But the movement grew beyond his wildest dreams.
By the 1990s, the Hysterical Society's focus expanded to honoring and memorializing the stairways that were no longer in use.
There is a proper way to officially decommission public stairways. This is how you pay respect to the people and the steps that came before you.
There's a renaissance taking place. People are more health conscious, so the thought of taking the stairs is cool.
Today, our main focus is on education. We do a lot of presentations at the local schools where we talk about the history of the stairways. Eventually, we would love to have an apprentice program where we can teach people to be artisan stair makers.
The great thing about the Dubuque Stairways is that while they're rich in history, they're completely free to enjoy. Unless you want to purchase the Stairways of Dubuque calendar. Each month features a different set of stairs.
No other city in the world has stairways like the ones you're going to find right here in Dubuque, Iowa. Make sure you count how many you end up finding, and at the same time, count how many times your family tells you this was the best vacation ever. So take the next step and start planning your vacation to Dubuque today. Turn me over.
This program was produced with support by the City of Dubuque Community PEG Access Equipment Grant Program.
You expect us to climb these stairs when we could be driving these things called automobiles? Nope. Okay.
So then, in the middle of the night,
In the middle of the night, he packed everything and moved out west to the Rockies during the handrail rush. In the middle of the night, he packed up everything. He moved out west.